มาจักกนังปันสังครัวจีนปรัชญาไม่เพียงสามัคคีกลมนันเนียสังครัวบอมรากาเปียกัมพูชีหมายตรงรบเนียเปียมเปียสันเสรีไอกระเรียนโบราณเพียมอาธรรมปไตยหมายเราใส่โดประดันไทยรักษามันอ้อยบอตึงเฉลียนเปียนโมกตรวตราสมบัติโดนตาทนเทียนจิตขมายเรียงอาทิตย์เรียงบอมลือกัมพูชีขมายไอกระเทียมเมียต้องสลายปัญหาโยบายเศรษฐกิจสังคมอันทองสาขอปลอดไร้คลาจีเบียบเพียมรุ่งเรืองได้ยืนตูยืนผู้เข้ายืนขมายกรองลานสังคมจีนกันราชนาได้จองเราอำลาจุนราจีนำไปกัมพูชีรวมรู้เสียงสานเจีโยคณะป่าสังคมจีนมาจักกนังปันสังครัวจีนปรัชญาไม่เพียงสามัคคีกลมนันเนียสังครัวบอมรากาเปียกัมพูชีหมายตรงรบเนียเปียมเปียสันเสรีไอกระเรียนโบราณเพียมอาธรรมปไตยหมายเราใส่โดประดันไทยรักษามันอ้อยบอตึงเฉลียนเปียนโมกตรวตราสมบัติโดนตาทนเทียนจิตขมายเรียงอาทิตย์เรียงบอมพลือกัมพูชีขมายไอกระเทียมเมียต้องสลายปัญหาโยบายเศรษฐกิจสังคมอันหังสาสอดปลอดไร้คลาจีเบียบเพียมรุ่งเรืองได้ยืนตูยืนผู้เข้ายืนขมายกรองลางสังคมจีนไทยราบอชนาได้จำประดออำนาจจุนราจีนำไปกัมพูชีรวมรู้เสียงสาน
Jumripsu and hello and welcome to CNRP-America. This is Khmer Youth Voices for Justice. Again, thank you for joining us. Good evening, everyone, or good morning if you are in Cambodia. My name is Linda Wu. Today is December 14, 2021. Our topic for today is Human Rights Day 2021. We every year we celebrate International Human Rights Day on December 10. So it's 4 days ago. But since we have not talked about that, will be discussing about that. But before I even go into our topic, I would like your support to end impunity for justice in Cambodia. The first step to justice for victim and the family is please help to go to change.org and sign the petitions. Why are we still talking about ending impunity for justice in Cambodia? The petitions we started the petitions last year around July. So it is over a year and a half and we still talking about that. I haven't brought up this subject yet. I'm going to show you a picture of what's going on. This happened November 21st of this year. So it less than a month ago. He was the CNRP activist and he was hacked to death. And as of now, we still have not find his real killer. So the ending impunity for justice is still alive and it's still at change.org. Please help to head to change.org and help to change to sign the petitions. I'm going to show some more picture. This is not it's not anything that happened last year. This just happened last month. He was the first time he was got beat up. He survived. The second time on November 21st, they hacked him to death at 1 a.m. And as of now, the real killer and the real perpetrator have not brought to justice. And we need to end impunity for justice in Cambodia. It is in 2021, and in November, less than a month ago, we still dealing with that issue. So please help to sign our petitions and help to support our petitions. If you have not signed yet, please head to change.org and sign our petitions ending impunity for justice in Cambodia. Until now, the victims have not find many victims have not been able to find justice. So we need your help to sign the petition so we can take your signature to you and help to find justice for the what we call victim of state-backed killing. We have so far gathered over 112,000 signatures, but your signature and your support is still it's still needed because the picture I show you is less than a month ago. CNRP activist, youth activist, he was 31 years old, was hacked to death alive, hacked to death, and as of today, the real killer have not been found yet. So please help to sign our petitions. I have a short video clip by Her Excellency Mosahua thanking you who so far have helped sign the petition. Please, if you signed it already, please help to share with your friend, with your family, and you does not have to be Cambodian. You just have to know what justice, you just have to know and care about what is right, and killing somebody at 1 o'clock in the morning, and it happened again and again. So please help to head to change.org and change up sign up petitions ending impunity for justice in Cambodia. Thank you.
អីប៉ាធ្វើល្អបានគេសម្រាប់
រដ្ឋប្រហារថ្ងៃទី5 ទី6 ជីវវិទ្យាត្រូវបានថ្មរំលើងបានសម្រាប់នេះជាប់ពាក់ព័ន្ធនឹងរាជរដ្ឋាភិបាលអ្នកស្រីពីសិទ្ធិលោកបណ្ឌិតកម្មលេខត្រូវបានថ្មរំលើងបានសម្រាប់3គ្រាប់ការពីកដាលប៉ុន្តែក្រាក់បេះដូងលែងដើរដើមសកុតភ្លៀង
ខ្ញុំសូមថ្លែងអំណរគុណទៅដល់បងប្អូនដែលបានចូលរួមចុះហត្ថលេខាលើកញត្តិយុទ្ធនាការបញ្ចប់នីតិរដ្ឋភាពនៅកម្ពុជាតាមនិយាយទាំងអស់ពីពិភពលោកបានចូលរួមធ្វើនៅកាតព្វកិច្ចដ៏សំខាន់មួយពិសេសយុវជនដែលបានចូលរួមញត្តិបញ្ចប់នីតិរដ្ឋភាពនៅប្រទេសកម្ពុជារបស់យើងហើយក៏ជាលើកទី1នៅក្នុងប្រវត្តិសាស្ត្រដែលបងប្អូនខ្មែរទូទាំងពិភពលោកអាចមានឱកាសចូលរួមស្វែងរកយុត្តិធម៌ជូនអ្នកដែលបានបាត់បង់ជីវិតទៅហើយនៅពេលនេះញត្តិយើងបានជាង 100000 ដែលញត្តិរបស់យើងគឺមានចំនួន 100000 ជាងហើយមិនដែលមានញត្តិណាមានខ្ពស់ដល់ប៉ុណ្ណឹងហើយនីតិរដ្ឋភាពនៅប្រទេសកម្ពុជាដែលយើងចង់បញ្ចប់គឺករណីសម្រាប់ដោយរដ្ឋដូចជាករណីលោកជាវិជាករណីលោកស្រីពិសិដ្ឋលក្ខណៈករណីលោកករណីលោកឈុតវិធីករណីនៃបដិជនសុនប៊ុនធឿនបានសម្លាប់ទង្ពាលទៅលើពលរដ្ឋទៅលើអ្នកចេះដឹងទៅលើអ្នកដែលឈឺឆ្អាលរឿងប្រទេសជាតិរឿងនយោបាយហើយបន្តប៉ុណ្ណោះគឺយើងនឹងស្វែងរកយុត្តិធម៌នៅក្នុងប្រទេសកម្ពុជាទៀតមិនឲ្យមានការកាប់សម្លាប់ប្រជាពលរដ្ឋក្រៅប្រព័ន្ធច្បាប់នោះទេដូច្នេះយុទ្ធនាការនេះគឺជាយន្តការអន្តរជាតិមួយដើម្បីជួយរកយុត្តិធម៌គាត់តាមរយៈអន្តរជាតិដើម្បីយើងប្តឹងទៅតុលាការអន្តរជាតិជួយរកភាពយុត្តិធម៌ជូនអ្នកដែលបានបាត់បង់ជីវិតអ្នកដែលយកបានមកចុះហត្ថលេខាជាង 100000 អ្នកនេះគឺយើងយកទៅអង្គការសហប្រជាជាតិដើម្បីទាមទារឲ្យអង្គការសហប្រជាជាតិដឹងថាត្រូវតែមានការស៊ើបអង្កេតដោយឯករាជ្យលើករណីទាំងអស់នេះលុះត្រាតែបងប្អូនយើងទាំងអស់គ្នានៅក្នុងស្រុកនិងក្រៅស្រុកចូលរួមឲ្យបានច្រើនបន្តនៅយុទ្ធនាការបញ្ចប់នីតិរដ្ឋភាពនៅក្នុងប្រទេសកម្ពុជាដូច្នេះសូមបន្តចុះញត្តិឲ្យបានច្រើនគ្រប់គ្នាបន្ថែមទៀតហើយខ្ញុំសង្ឃឹមថាពុកម៉ែបងប្អូននឹងបន្តចុះញត្តិអនឡាញនេះបន្តទៅទៀតដើម្បីឈានទៅរកយុត្តិធម៌ជូនដល់ជនរងគ្រោះឲ្យបញ្ចប់នីតិរដ្ឋភាពនៅប្រទេសកម្ពុជាដោយគ្រាន់តែបងប្អូនមានត្រឹមតែទូរស័ព្ទដៃមួយគ្រឿងនេះគឺជារឿងអស្ចារ្យមួយនៅក្នុងសតវត្សទី21នាសម័យបច្ចេកវិទ្យានេះយើងរួមគ្នាបញ្ចប់នីតិរដ្ឋភាពដើម្បីយុត្តិធម៌នៅកម្ពុជាចូលរួមបញ្ចប់នីតិរដ្ឋភាពដើម្បីយុត្តិធម៌នៅក្នុងកម្ពុជាយើងចូលរួមបញ្ចប់នីតិរដ្ឋភាពដើម្បីយុត្តិធម៌នៅកម្ពុជាទាំងអស់គ្នាយើងរួមគ្នាដើម្បីបញ្ចប់នីតិរដ្ឋភាពនៅប្រទេសកម្ពុជាដើម្បីបញ្ចប់នីតិរដ្ឋភាពឲ្យមានយុត្តិធម៌នៅក្នុងប្រទេសកម្ពុជារួមគ្នាបញ្ចប់នីតិរដ្ឋភាពដើម្បីយុត្តិធម៌នៅប្រទេសកម្ពុជារួមគ្នាបញ្ចប់នីតិរដ្ឋភាពដើម្បី
ដើម្បីយុត្តិធម៌នៅកម្ពុជា
សូមបងប្អូនចូលរួមចុះហត្ថលេខាលើញត្តិរបស់យើងដើម្បីបញ្ចប់វប្បធម៌នីតិរដ្ឋភាពនៅប្រទេសកម្ពុជាដើម្បីរកយុត្តិធម៌ជូនទៅដល់អ្នកដែលរងគ្រោះចូលរួមបញ្ចប់នីតិរដ្ឋភាពនៅក្នុងប្រទេសកម្ពុជា
Thank you and welcome back, and thank you our audience who has also told me that they signed the petitions already, and thank you for the link, Brittany, to change.org. If you have not signed the petitions, please head to change.org. It's on our comment. It's ending impunity for justice in Cambodia. Like I said, it is not something that old. It's just something happened in November 21st that our CNRP activists, youth activists, very bright future, very smart, and got killed. And as of right now, the real perpetrator, the real killer, have not brought into justice yet. And from consistently from history and from many deaths, like Dr. Kam Lay and Chia Vichia, there's nobody, the real killer does not never ever brought justice, and that is we need to end impunity for justice in Cambodia. So please help to sign the petitions. Again, if you just being here, my name is Linda Wu. Today is Tuesday, December 14th. Thank you for joining our show. I have two wonderful guests. I have my first guest, her name is Sorina. She is the General Secretary of CNRPA in Ohio. So we have Ohio in the house. And also she is an advisor to CNRPA Women Affairs. Let me bring her out.
Hello, good evening, everyone.
How are you today, Bong?
I am good, trying to relax.
Thank you
How are you?
I'm good, Bong. Thank you for dedicating your time for being on the show today. I know you have not been here for many months. Can you tell our audience what you've been up to this, I guess, holiday season, what you've been up to, and what you have you done your shopping, or it's almost Christmas?
I finally put up the Christmas tree this past Sunday. We just finished the lights around our doors to the entry, and we did the railing and the hallway, the walkway hallway. So now we're done. We just need, because I have this Saturday, a few of my close friends coming. We're going to be doing ladies' ugly sweater night.
That should be fun, Bong. That should be very fun.
So everybody's bringing a potluck. So it's a potluck night. So lots of food. So hopefully we'll have some good times and some games and stuff like that with some close friends.
How's the weather in Ohio?
Today, not bad. It was sunny and 52. Tomorrow, about 57 and cloudy. But the rain's coming soon, and the weather's going to drop. You know, as always, it's in the Great Lakes area. The weather is unpredictable until usually the day before, because it can change within 24 hours without us knowing it.
Let me tell you, it's heading your way, because I'm having a lot of rain in California right now. So when it starts from California, it will move slowly to the East Coast. So it's heading your way, rain and snow.
Keep there, Linda. I need
we're so glad we get some rain, but yeah, we're so glad we get some rain for the last 2 days. But I know every time there's rain in California, it will move slowly to the East Coast, and when it gets to the East Coast, it's snow and rain and snow.
Oh yeah, it's coming.
Thank you, Bong, for being here today.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me tonight.
Thank you. My next guest is Samady. He is the CNRPA youth president in Los Angeles, California. Let me bring him out. Samady.
Wong, how are you today?
I'm good, thank you. How you been?
I'm fine, thank you, Wong.
Are you finished your final? Are you still working on the final, or what's
No,
going on with school right now?
I'm done with my final last week, so right now just resting and prepare for another semester, and then I'm done.
Oh, good. Now you can spend more time with me on the CNRPA America, right, Samady?
We'll see.
Yeah, maybe we can have you host the show, have the real you host the show instead of me being the host all the time every Tuesday. So I'm looking forward to that. Thank you, Samly, for being here, and one more semester to go. So hang in there.
Thank you, Wong.
Thank you. Let me bring back Bong Sorina Woods. Okay, Bong, we usually start the show by having like current events. So today, somebody gonna bring up his current event. You and I will talk about it, and somebody will talk about it and see what is your current event today, somebody.
Well, recently the hottest topic is Hun Sen would like to appoint his son as his successors in the CPP. So he said when he retired, he wanted to pass his chair to the next in line, which is Hunmanite. In this case, we can see that people in the CPP party like don't really support this idea, because even people who on their side doesn't want his son to adopt his ideology of destroying the country. So this show clearly that CPP isn't always peaceful and working as one political party. They also has a disagreement too.
So what you're saying is, first of all, when is Hun San retiring? By the way.
He said 10 years, but I think he knows his own health and he would like to plan for the futures. That's why he wanted to test the water to see who support him and who doesn't. And it turned out that not many CPP higher up supported this idea of passing his position to his son without any voting, just like a communist country. People doesn't support that, and now I think he kind of back off a little bit, kind of adapt to the ideas of, well, if you don't want me to pass this position to my son, I just be the next, I just be the prime minister till I can't anymore. So in this case, like he said, 10 more years.
Bong Sorina, do you know anything about Hunmanite?
Yes, so a little bit. I saw that he wanted to pass the reign to his son. So if you said that Cambodia is, you know, they are practicing democracy. So how can you just, hand that position over to his son without having a fair election? So where's our fair election? Because you would have to put his name on the ballot and people vote. So that doesn't seem right. So just because you're not a monarchy, handing it over to your son. This is, a prime minister position that you need to be fair and let the people vote for their next prime minister. You just can't hand it down to whoever that he wants.
In my opinion, Hunmanite has educations, has American education, has have British educations. He was I was hoping that he would go back to Cambodia and how change Cambodia and how to, lift up the human rights and lift up the democracy. But unfortunately, he have not done any of that. And even though he got his Western educations, it seemed like people been saying it, the leaf doesn't fall away from the tree. And his father, who is a dictatorship, we can say his dictatorship, he's backward in human rights, which is our topic today. And also he is there's no democracy in Cambodia. How can that be democracy? There's no free and fair elections. And since he came back to Cambodia, I don't see any thing that he done, for example, like environmental. The tree is being destroyed. In Cambodia, the lake being filled with sand, and all about for profit. And I don't see him benefit or using his Western educations to improve Cambodia at all. And so he would be stepping into his father's footstep and continue on the dictatorship as being a regime. Anything to add, Samady? Are you happy with our answer, or is it good enough for the clarifications on Honmanite and our stand with Honmanite?
I agree with your statement, Bong. Unfortunately, most Asian country is like a dominoes effects. They like to follow one another, like dominoes. When one falls, like it follow one another until the end. In this case, in Asia, we can see that the most popular topic is being a communist country. Like, for example, Cambodia, China, North Korea, they all follow the same step. As you can see, Kim Jong-un, when people saw like him succeeding his father, Kim Jong-il, they thought that, oh, he has 4-year education in Switzerland, so he has those Western ideas. When he success his father, Kim Jong-il, Kim Jong-un would maybe open the country to the Western idea, and instead of practicing communism, he can turn to North Korea can turn into a democracy country which respect human right. In this case, he become worse than his father, Kim Jong-il, more brutal. Doesn't show any sign of weakness, and keep practicing his father ideology to the extreme. In this case, we see that Honmanite and people in CPP who supported them know that if he adopt his father position and become the prime minister in Cambodia for the next 40-50 years, they know that this country is going to head into the wrong directions, just like Kim Jong-un, and people is afraid of that. And whoever disagree with them, they will be missing. So people just afraid of passing this position to the next person in line without voting. So I believe this is not the correct choice for Cambodia to head it to. And hopefully people in CPP would oppose the ideas and not agree to this ideology.
Thank you, Samady. And as I scan through the picture, you can see that Hun Sen is grooming his son to meet the China president. So it is grooming to be the same kind of following his footsteps. So all these picture is so his children is, even though they have Western educations, going back to Cambodia, corruption is very much alive and very much lucrative. Everybody that in the government is making the salary is very little, but compared to what they have, it's very unexplainable amount of money they have. So thank you, Samady. Bong Sorina, do you have anything to add regarding current event, or are we good with that?
I am good, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Bong, and thank you, Samady, for bringing up that current event. It's been a hot topic lately on that. Our topic today is human rights 2021. December 10 is each year on December 10 is International Human Rights Day, and is celebrated around the world to commemorate the 1948 adoptions of the Universal Declarations of Human Rights by the United Nations. In short, it's a basic right and fundamental freedom to all human beings. And I believe that both of our guests have some comment or how can explain to us on what's going on. I know let's start with Bong Sorina. You haven't been here for so long, and so So we want to hear from you, Bong. So what is why do we celebrate International Human Rights Day, so that our audience can understand a little bit?
So about over 73 years ago, as you stated, the United Nations General Assembly adopted the Universal Declaration of Human Rights in Paris on December 10th, 1948. So UDHR, drafted by representatives with different legal and cultural backgrounds from all regions of the world. So it sets out for the first time fundamental human rights to be universally protected, and has been translated into over 500 countries. So within that, there are 30 articles in the preambles. I will only mention the first 5 articles that are adopted. So there's a total of 30. So Article 1, all human beings are being free, equal, dignity, and rights. So Article 2, everyone is entitled to all the rights and freedoms set forth in this declaration. Article 3, everyone has the right to life, liberty, security of person. Article 4, no one shall be held in slavery or servitude. No one shall be, in Article 5, no one shall be subject to torture or to cruel, inhumane, or degrading treatment or punishment. So it's, as we can see what's going on with Cambodia, we don't have, people are being punished, torture, so they're being degraded. They are not allowed to freedom of expression. So with the declaration that most of the different countries around the world, including the United States, have adopted this for people to follow the rules and regulations.
Thank you, Bong, and that is clearly explained. And every year they mark that on December 10th. It landed on Friday. Women Affair were at a couple of us, not a couple of us, like maybe around 20 us is in New York on Friday. So we joined the Burma, and let me show some pictures so that way you can see what we did a couple of days ago. So that way, let me see if I can find that. So this is what we did. Let me see. This is what we did on Friday. We joined the people in Hong Kong to basically mark this 73 anniversary of Human Rights Day. And that's our CNRPA team. So it was nice to be there with everybody, and also to reminder that other country like Cambodia, Burma, Hong Kong, it's, you know, human right it's not free, and it's not and it's still something that we need to talk about. Let me see. Do you do anything special in Ohio for Friday, Mom?
This Friday?
Last Friday?
No, we didn't do anything because we don't have any like an United Nations, any kind of embassy like New York or Washington, D.C., or in California. So if we did, that would help us to initiate some kind of events, like where you went on December 10th in New York City, going to attend and celebrating the human rights for the 73th anniversary.
And like we said, it's you brought up the first 5 articles, the total under the Universal Declarations of Human Rights by the United Nations, how 30 articles, and it's about the foundations and principle that all human beings, how human rights that are interrelated, interdependent, and indivisible, which is the principle that is include rights to decent housing, education, the right to be free from discriminations of any kind, to have free thoughts and speech, and to vote, able to vote, and to have freedom from violence, to have equal access to public service, and to have fair working conditions. You are in Ohio. Any complaint about human rights in Ohio or in America that you see that you want to bring up?
There's always a little bit of the injustice. As you know, during the COVID, a lot of people are being a lot of people don't want to wear masks when they are inside. Now, in Ohio, it's mandated if you go inside a building, you have to wear a mask. And a lot of people are defiant of that. Because they said that they already have their shot, they don't want to wear it. It's kind of hard for employees to enforce it without getting a little bit of confrontation between them. So it's mandated by the states, but it's not, say people are not following it. So it's, you try to, the governor mandated, but you're trying to put like an honor system out there that hopefully, out of the gracious of people's heart, that they would follow the rules. But you're going to have a few that wants to break the rules, that they're defiant on that.
Thank you. Well, and so on the topic of COVID-19, how is COVID-19 in Ohio?
It's rising. We're on the red state. A lot of the states are like that. So because of the Delta variant and the Omicron that is here. So it's scary. So everybody be safe. So.
Thank you. Well, I know it's off topic a little bit, but it is related to human rights, related to freedom of expressions. Let me put Samady on, and let me hear his take on human rights. Samady, what is your take on human rights and Human Rights Day? What is the important? Why do we need to keep every year celebrated on December 10 and continue to celebrate actually kind of remembering it?
So the reason we keep celebrating this is because around the world there hasn't been many country that respected human right in general, especially in Cambodia, and we can see in China and so on that we follow the Chinese government footstep. So in this year we focus on equality, and like that means Sorina said under Article 1 that human beings that are born should be free and equal in dignity and right. In this case, I know in the U.S. We have basic human right, but in the other country, like Cambodia, that there hasn't been one. Like for example, the youth that you said has been hacked to death because he believed in CNRP, the opposition party, who can go up against the government, Hun Sen government regime. And this is not human right. When we talk about human right, we should have the idea of believing our own political ideology, basically free and fair elections. In Cambodia, we did not have that. So I believe this is the reason why human rights is still being celebrated around the world, because of country like Cambodia under the Hun Sen regime.
Thank you, Samady. Do you do anything in California for Human Rights Day? Do you celebrate? Do you know it happened last Friday?
Well, I want to go to New York with you for human right. I saw you posted on Facebook, but at the same time, it happened in finals week, and I could not go, unfortunately, because I have a test on Monday and Tuesday, and that whole week, and I cannot attend. But I did see. If I have time next time, I would go. It looked very like fun to attend because I saw Myanmar, the country, come together in New York, and they just speak their mind about their current event in their country. For example, in Myanmar, we see people come and speak out, said that they do not support the coup by the government. They are not their government, so they do not support them. I wish I could have went and learned about human rights, but next time.
We miss you, Samady. Yes, we miss you very much because you were supposed to come with us to the protest, but circumstances preventing you not able to join us. But we hopefully next time you can join us. Let me put Bong Sorina back. Now since we talk about Bong Sorina also brought a little bit regarding Ohio. Somebody brought a little bit, talk about a little bit about Cambodia. How do you feel the human rights situation in Cambodia, Bong?
Human rights in Cambodia. So there are significant human rights issues, including there's torture and cruel, inhumane, degrading treatment or punishment by the government, arbitrary detention by the government, political prisoner and detainers, the absence of judicial independence, the government interfere in the private lives of their citizens, including pervasive electronics, media surveillance, serious restriction on free expression, the press, and the internet. So we have including violence and threats of violence, unjustified arrest, or prosecution of journalists, censorship, site blocking, and criminal liberal laws, restrictive of non-governmental organizations, laws, interference with the rights to peaceful assembly and freedom of association, severe restriction on political participation, diminishing ability of citizens to change their government peacefully through free and fair elections. Then you have corruption, including the judiciary, the lack of investigation of and accountability for violence against women, trafficking in person, and the worst form of child labor, including forced child labor that we have in Cambodia. So I would think that everything on the 30 articles on the UDHR, Cambodia is not abiding by any of the rules that they have set out on the 30s that are mentioned in those articles. So there's no Hun Sen is not following any kind of laws or regulations that countries, United Nations have been set out, even the agreement, the Paris Accord agreement that he signed. So it's his own law. So he is not, human life is precious and only his family is precious versus what the people of Cambodia is not precious to him. They are just a piece of kind of like, kind of like an entity that he can dispose of at any time. So it's a tool for him. So he does not preserve or the life of a human being.
I have an audience asking, are we talking about human rights or human crisis in Cambodia?
We're talking about, this is human rights. This is all that is And there's crisis in Cambodia. This is included in there.
That's
so
both
if
we're
you
talking about. Our audience asking that, so the answer is both. The human crisis created violations of human rights. I have a very if you done that, I have a little video clip we can watch and then we can talk about that. So that way our audience can see what's going on. Let me share the video clip and then we'll come back to you, Bong. Let me see.
700 villagers block traffic in front of a courthouse in southwestern Cambodia. They are protesting in support of two village representatives charged with incitement and defamation over a land dispute. The case stems from a dispute over land that local officials awarded to Heng Hui Agriculture Company to grow sugar. Villagers say the company has encroached on their land. Land disputes are common in Cambodia and other Southeast Asian countries. Government officials seize land for lucrative real estate ventures, leaving ordinary people with little or no recourse.
The reason I'm playing that video, it said the principle in which include the right to decent housing. How can a Cambodian population have the right to decent housing when the government is land grabbing? And the land grabbing situations in Cambodia, if you look at that video, is people protesting because of the land that the regime take to build. In this case, is to build airport, and also like our audience said, deforestation crisis. And when deforestations, how can people live? And that's environmental crisis as well. And so human rights crisis in Cambodia is the same as human rights and human crisis in Cambodia. When you see that video, do you have any thought of what's going on, Bong, or it's like how the situation in Cambodia?
As you see, the video is clearly the government, for its own gains and personal benefit, they are just taking the land of the people. They have no rights where, they can take their deed and just, they can fake the deeds and take over, and that they own it, the government own it. They can, to corporations, that the Chinese corporation or the Vietnam corporations, that they can take and open or manufacture a building and do as they please without any regards for human, especially Cambodians in the country. There's no regards for a human life or any kind of to protect their own people. It's they're just benefiting from this as their personal gains, and not as a whole for the whole country, for the Cambodian people.
Thank you, Bong. Let me put Samady on, and I'm gonna play another video so that way our audience can see what's the situation in Cambodia. This is a protest that happened every single Friday by Friday Wife or Friday Woman, that they protest the release of their husband. And many times that when they protest, they got beat up by the police. So let me show that.
About a dozen relatives of jailed activists from the banned opposition Cambodia National Rescue Party marched toward the royal palace. The protesters were hoping to petition the king for the release of their imprisoned family members. The palace refused to accept the petition, and security officers forced the protesters to leave. Earlier, the protesters prayed for the release of their relatives. They also called down curses on the government officials who arrested their family members. 17 CNRP activists are currently in prison in Cambodia. In recent years, the government of Prime Minister Hun Sen has stepped up harassment of activists, journalists, and opposition politicians. Western governments and human rights groups have called on Cambodia to end the crackdown on dissenting voices.
Samady, how does that make you feel? That last video, in the Cambodia constitutions, you have the right to peaceful protest. What happened?
Well, I feel bad for those people because like no matter how loud they speak, the result is still the same. No one is listening to them. It's like their fate is to be stuck, and no one would help them because they live in a country where people do not respect human rights, especially under the regime. Sorina said, they only care about their family members, and it's just unfortunate. Sometimes I think that what happened if I was in their shoes? What happened if I was born in Cambodia? And I have a dream of becoming someone or something that can help our country. I don't think it would be possible in Cambodia, but in the U.S., even though you were born here, but you still have the power to speak out. In this case, we can go to the Chinese embassy or Cambodian embassy, standing in front of those embassy and hold up a sign. We have the power to do something. And also the message can be loud and clear when we see injustice happen in our motherland. Well, it's just unfortunate in Cambodia. I don't know when those people suffer will end under the regime. So I'm just speechless. I don't know what to say for those people.
Thank you, Samady. Let me add Bong Sorina back on. Bong, how do you feel when you see the woman drag and got kicked and just wanting to put the petitions at the embassy, and every Friday they go through this asking for the release of their husband or their father, that's CNRP activists that in as what we call political prisoner, everything motivated by their charges would be incitement, their charges would be against the regime, and there's no real charge, and that's what they every single Friday they out there protesting, bravely protesting. And I don't think they protest on Friday anymore because they get so much publicity, and because like you see, beating, dragging every single week.
So it's heartfelt to see what's going on in Cambodia, that, their husband, they're a part of their members. I can't imagine being in their shoes and seeing that. It's heartfelt. It's so brutal to see an action of a leader who is inhumane, cruelty to the people, that all they want is the freedom of speech. They want to know why, their husband or family member being jailed for what. So they need justification, clarification, and it's heartfelt. If it was me, will I be able to do that? I was born in Cambodia, but fortunately to come into the US, a lot of people ask me why. You lived here comfortably, you have a good job, a house, a husband, and kids. Why do you care what happens to Cambodia? It's a legacy for, my kids, my nephew, to, I want to make sure that we still have a country to go back, and that we are still on the map, that China or Vietnam is not going to swallow up our country and we have no country to go back to. It's my main concern is that we need to come together, unite, no matter if you are CPP, you are in CNRP, it's because you're it's your blood, you're Cambodia. We need to come together and protect our country. This is our main goal, is using the Friday women, how brave they are, every Friday going there, protesting, trying to have freedom of expression, and they are being shunned, they are being dragged. It is so terrifying for them, and I can't imagine that that happening to me. Would I be able to endure that brutality?
Thank you, Bong, and thank you, Samady, for the conversations. That's just the two of the video that I just show how the how human rights is in Cambodia, and that's the reason why we keep bringing it up. And for our audience that comment, thank you so much for your comment. Thank you for your interactions with us this evening. And also, like I said, the reason we brought it up, because if there is real that if the regime respect human rights, we wouldn't be talking about that. So Samady, what should we do to change that? What do we need to do?
I think it is important, like Sorina said, she has a good life here. Why would she care about Cambodia? I think it's important, like especially youth who live outside the country, who has the power to speak out their voice. I think especially Khmer youth, even though they're born in the U.S., they are American, they never visit Cambodia before. I think it is important for them to have at least some ideas of what is going on in their motherland, because in the future they can they are the real voice, because international affairs is very important, as we know. Like Omsri Mozakur, she's going around the world talking to people in a higher position in the human right, and everyone who supported human right. And I believe it's the youth who are responsible for our country and next generation, especially us, like myself, who live outside the country, who are not heavily influenced by the society. As you know, most youth in Cambodia, they don't really care about what's going on in their country. All they worry about is hanging out with their friend, playing games. In Cambodia, we don't have age drinking limit, so they just go out and drink every day. Not focusing in school, and many youth has been involved with some sort of drug. So I believe this is all the government doing. It's not that they don't know there's drug in Cambodia. They know, but they want to keep those distractions inside the society where it can attract those youth to those type of hobby, so they won't care about the country. And Hun Sen and his family can do whatever they want in Cambodia in this case. Like, for example, you live in a house and there's gas coming in and kick you out of your room and make them their own room. How would you feel about that? The house that you used to live in for 20 years, and they just come in, kick you out of your own room, destroyed your room, and renovate it into their own room. In this case, it's the same thing in Cambodia. Those poor citizens who don't have power or voice in Cambodia, just a regular Cambodian citizen, live in their own land for almost 30, 40 years. And then the Chinese government coming in, they pour in all billions of dollars to buy Cambodian lands, kick them out of their own land, and now the Chinese own the land. So I believe in the future, if this is keep going and going, I don't think we have Cambodia. Maybe change to Taiwan or something. That's the name of the new country, because as you know, now most kids speaking Chinese in Cambodia. English is not really popular, because of the Chinese investor, you need to know some sort of Chinese to get a job or communicate so they can get paid very well. So this is my opinion on this kind of stuff.
Thank you, Samady. Now, Bong Sorina, what do we need to do to change Cambodia too, so that way the respect for human rights need to be high up on the scale, because right now the regime is not respecting human rights at all.
So we are trying to here in around the countries, including the US, Canada, Europeans, and other countries beside Cambodia, that we can all speak out about Cambodia, the brutality, the inhumane, the abuse of human in Cambodia. So similar to what we have been doing, saying the HR 4686, S3052, if we can get that passed. HR 4686 is in the Senate, so we need to pass that, getting more sanctions in Cambodia. So we have seen our progress, what we have been doing to promote free and fair elections, justice for the Friday woman, what we've seen, the prisoners that have been, a handful that have been released, of what we have been doing outside the country in helping to voice their opinion, the people in Cambodia that cannot voice. So we're being their voice outside. So, I mean, what's going on? The current regime is an issue that we want change. They need to change. The regime needs to adopt the UDHR that has been widely recognized as having inspired and also paved the way for the adoption of more than 70 human rights treaties applied today on a permanent base at a global and regionals in Cambodia. The principles set out on this declaration remain the key to realizing all human rights, civil, economic, and cultural, social, and political for all people everywhere. We have the rights to speak our minds without fear. We can enjoy our days in a healthy environment, that we don't have to fear, when the government is, Hun Sen government is going to come and take our home away from us, or when is our next meal, when we can have a job, when we can put, give our children the education that they are warrant, that they deserve, without preferential treatment in Cambodia. So you only had a handful of kids that can go to in a special elite school, while the other, say, 95% are in poverty, because the government, even right now, we're below the poverty line. And it's so sad that, we have the natural resource in Cambodia. If we had a leader that can lead our country, and Cambodia can be so prosperous. And I'm seeing this, and it's heartfelt. It's so sad for me to be a Cambodian, and my heart goes out to the people.
Thank you so much, Bong. Thank you for so much for your contribution to our show. And yes, we agree with you. And this is the reason why we all of us, Samady and I and Bong, is speaking in English, so that way the international community can understand what's going on, the situation in Cambodia. and since last Friday's was International Human Rights Day, it's only right that we speak about what's going on, how the abuse of human rights in Cambodia, and that also going regarding democracy as well, where the regime is just step on democracy. And thank you so much, Bong, for being here, for express your opinion and how you feel. We all feel it. We all know where your heart is at, and thank you, Bong, for explaining to our audience the current situation in Cambodia. Samady, do you have anything to add? Because our show is at the end, and like I said, human rights is something that is very hard to swallow when you see what's going on in Cambodia. And like I said, that's only 2 video I show, but it just comes consistently every single day. And it is in our constitutions that we have the freedom of speech, we have the freedom of expressions, we have the freedoms to pick our political party. But at the same time, CNRP activists from left and right being attacked each day, and also being thrown in jail, and currently still in jail for them that they supported CNRP. Can you help to close the show and say something?
Well, I would like to say on the bright side, nothing will last forever. We start to see the side effects of Hun Sen and his regime. Right now, recently, we've seen that he wants to transfer his power to his son, and people have a really strong reaction against his ideas. And this shows that Cambodia really wants change right now. So Hun Sen is really scared right now, and we just outside keep speaking the truth. And I believe in the future, Cambodia will receive a genuine leaders who will lead the country into the right directions, and also taught younger generations to love their country, environment, more youth be involved in politics in Cambodia. I believe change will come. Nothing will last forever. In this case, a dynasty of the Hun Sen regime is not going to last.
Thank you, Samady. Thank you for that hope. And we all hope that, I know Bong Sorina is also a hope as well, that change is coming, and that's all we can do. And we do so much more for Bong Sorina and I, for Samady, that we in America, we have HR 4686 and S3052. So please, if you have not contact your Congress, we already passed the Congress, if you have not contact your senator on where you live, please spend 5 minutes of your time, call your senator, write your senator, and help them to, and ask them to co-sponsor HR 4686 and S3052. It is really important that we sanctions the regime. It is really important that they respect human rights, they respect free and fair elections. So please take 5 minutes of your time to support our both of HR 4686 and S3052, because that is something that we all working on right now. And please support that legislative, and we hope soon that both of HR 4686 and S3052 will be on President Biden's desk, that he signed, that he will sign. So please spend 5 minutes of your time this week, start tomorrow, and contact your senator. And thank you, Bong Sorina. Do you have anything else to say regarding our bills, and any kind of encouragement to the youth in Cambodia, or any kind of encouragement for youth in America as well, to help Cambodia regarding human rights, or regarding and thank you, Brittany. It is tonight. Yes, please do it tonight. Don't wait till tomorrow.
So we all need to get involved in our issue with Cambodia. Young, old, it doesn't matter what facet, what country that you are, as long as now, say my husband, he's American. He is helping me in, he signed the impunity. Americans, your friends from different countries, they can also join and help speak out on your behalf in trying to get the attention that we need for Cambodia. We need all the help that we can get, all facets of life in any part of the world. We need a lot of exposure for Cambodia, for anyone that will listen, that will pay attention, that will come together and work for our country. And we need to have a united front to stand strong. And there is hope at the end of the tunnel. We just have, like somebody said, nothing stays the same. We get old, we died. So it's just part of human nature that there's that inkling of hope that we have, that Cambodia one day will have a true democracy.
Thank you, Bong, and thank you, Samady, for being here today. I appreciate your time. I appreciate your input. And again, like Brittany said, please, after this show, turn off the show and start emailing your senator. HR 4686 and S3052 have both your senator. Each state has 2 senators. Please email both of them so that way they can co-sign and support our both of the HR 4686 and S3052. I'm keep saying the name so that way you will remember. And so HR 4686 and S3052, please, if you're not going to write the email, search Google for your senator phone number, leave them a message, tell them you are so-and-so from which state and you would like their support. Thank you so much. Thank you, Bong Sorina, and thank you, Samady, for being here. I appreciate your time. So,
thanks for having me. Have a good evening, everyone.
Well, thank you, our audience, for being here today. Thank you for watching our show. I appreciate you being here. And like Samuel said, he is tattooing that number on his right butt cheek. So. Thank you for the interaction out in today. It's I appreciate that. And wherever you at, please enjoy your evening. If you are daytime, please enjoy your day. And also, please don't forget, regarding Cambodia, please help to support our petitions ending impunity for justice in Cambodia. Only recently that on November 21st, our CNRP youth activist was hacked to death. So please, it's very important that we end impunity for justice in Cambodia. We need to stop state-backed killing in Cambodia. So please head to change.org. Please sign our petitions, share our petitions, and it's really important that we all need to stop impunity for justice in Cambodia. Again, our audience, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for always tuning into our show, and also thank you for your interactions. I appreciate that. So good night, and wherever you at, good night, good evening, and good morning, good day. Thank you, and see you next Tuesday.